Hello, welcome to Veritas. I'm your host, Adam Colazetti, and I'm here to guide you on a meditative adventure like no other. Join me and lose yourself in your imagination as we travel the outer reaches of the cosmos, quest for powerful talismans, and explore the inner realm of your subconscious. What might you find along the way? But be warned, fair traveler, this path is not for the faint of heart. On this path, of one thing I am certain, dragons be here. Are you ready? So how we're going to begin is you're going to sit comfortably, however that means to you. It could be legs crossed, could be sitting in a chair, whatever it is, sit somewhere comfortably that you feel relaxed and comfortable. And you're going to close your eyes and you're going to take 3 deep breaths. Deep breath in, count to 4. Deep breath out, count to 4. And each time you exhale, you're going to try and relax your body a little bit further. So you're going to inhale, pause, exhale. Pause. So as you're doing this and you're relaxing, it's in those pauses between breaths where we're going to go. That is where your creativity meets your imagination, meets your subconscious. So let's see what awaits you in the spaces between breaths. Run. The word echoes and reverberates through your body. Your legs are already moving, your body responding to this primal command. Your body careens off the side of the walls of the structure as you burst forward into the sunlight like a shot, arms and legs flailing as you sail through the air before crashing deep in the dirt. As you scramble to your feet, movement catches your eye and you stop. To your left, approximately 200 yards away, too far to make out, someone is there. Someone is here with you. You are elated. Relief pours out of you and you open your mouth to cry out, but something stops you. There is a second structure as well. Was that there before? You furrow your brow in confusion. How could you have missed that? It is then that the hairs on the back of your neck stand up and slowly you turn 180 degrees to look behind you. Sure enough, there is a second figure equally as far to your right. They are standing looking at you. They also seem to have emerged from a column structure. Quickly you turn your head back to the first figure. They stand still waiting for you to do something. You can't tell if they have spotted you, but it feels like they are looking at you. Your head swivels back and forth, and in that moment you choose to name them. Phobos on the left, and Deimos on the right, after Mars's 2 moons. How do you even know the name of Mars's 2 moons? Now you know you were playing a game you don't fully understand. You make up your mind to shout out to Deimos. They seem nicer, when an ear-splitting roar shatters the silence. Behind you, the door from which you emerge glows bright with the light from the rune still, but then a hulking shadow fills the space. Something is alive in there. Run. This time you leap with frantic purpose and fly across the red desert, primal terror once again reminding you of your one true task in this moment, to get as far away from here as possible. Something shines brightly in the distance high atop the cliff face. A beacon of light shoots into the sky for a moment and then is gone. It draws you and your legs push off towards it. Out of the corner of your eye you spot Phobos doing the same. Are they following me? You risk a glance to your right and sure enough Deimos is doing the same as well. Unfortunately for you, this break in concentration costs you as your foot strikes a rock at the wrong angle, twisting your ankle, causing you to fall crashing to the ground. Again. Frustration mixed with pain surges through you. Phobos and Deimos gain ground ahead of you. Somehow, you know that you can't let that happen. So you get to your feet and test your ankle with your weight. Luckily, you're a lighter here. It hurts, but it holds. Bending your knees, you spring off and skim across the ground just as a gust of wind throws you sideways. Through some sheer miracle of athleticism, you manage to keep your feet and keep going. This time you jump forward, and the wind pushes you back, meaning you travel half the distance. The wind howls now like it knows you are here. All you can do is grit your teeth and keep going. If you look forward for too long, your eyes water as the wind beats down upon you. Still, you keep going with nothing but red rock filling your vision. Keep your footing, fight the wind. Please don't let anything be behind you. You don't risk looking behind you, and truthfully, you're too scared to anyways. Ahead of you, the clouds you saw earlier gather and grow darker. Your lungs burn, yet still you push forward. Think. You need shelter now even more than you need water, but where? You risk a look to your left. The dust is too thick and the sky is grown too dark to see Phobos. Similar for Deimos. Ahead of you, you can just make out the features of the rock wall. Above it, the storm has grown. The sky is black, and now the first flash of lightning lights up the sky around you, chased by a deafening thunderclap. The storm is all around you now. Panic grips you. You slow, yet your breathing escalates as you begin to panic. What to do? There's nowhere to hide. You frantically look around, left, right, behind you, in front of you. Nothing but red desert. Thinking quickly, you bend your knees and jump as high as you can straight into the air, trying to look for any land feature in all directions at once. There. The lightning flashed and you swear there was a dark line in the ground just before the rock wall. A fissure, perhaps? With renewed vigor, you fight for your life against the storm, one foot in front of the other. There is no skimming or leaping now. The wind is so strong you're just pushing your body forward, leaning so far you're almost horizontal. Step after step, rain pelts your face and the wind whips you. Blinded, you trust your sense of direction. Was there a fissure in the ground? Did you imagine it? Is there a hiding place? At some point you slip and you fall flat on your face and the wind actually pushes you back. Your fingernails draw 5 cords in the dirt as the wind drags you across the rock like a rag doll. The storm is so loud you're not even sure if you are screaming. Pain shoots up your wrist as you dig into the ground and stop yourself. Now on your hands or knees, you crawl forward one step at a time. The wind is deafening, the sand blinding. Left hand, left leg. Right hand, right leg. Again and again, the cadence consumes your entire being. Eventually, all else fades except your breath. In, out. In, out. Everything in your world you've been worrying about fades except those 2 things. In, out. In, out. Always forward. Time is funny when your world becomes so small. It fades away. You're not sure if it was 5 minutes or 5 hours, but eventually your hand reaches out and finds nothing. Sure enough, there is a canyon of some sort, like a crack splitting the ground in 2. You don't have the time or energy to think about it. You simply throw yourself down the side and you simply fall. Again and again, you bounce and roll off the steep ground. It's not completely vertical, but it sure seems close. The only thing saving you from certain death is likely the gravity here. Finally, something hard strikes your back, causing you to flip over. It occurs to you that you have spent a lot of time falling since you've woken up here. It is dark down here. The only light is from the flashes of lightning. From what you can make out, the canyon seems to be about 40 feet across. The wind still screams violently down here. One way or another, you need to find something to hide under. As you sit up and begin to move, you groan. Shearing pain shoots radially across your body. You've definitely bruised or cracked a rib. What did you hit on the way down? Everything, probably. Grimacing, you stand up, holding one arm close to you, protecting your ribs, and the other held in front of you, stumbling blindly and reorienting by the lightning flashes. Your one hand finds the edge of the canyon and you use it as a guide. The storm rages above. It is angry. It wants you. You can tell it is still building in strength. It won't be much longer before it just takes you. Then your foot feels an empty space right along the edge of the wall. Could it be? You quickly drop to your knees and clear some dust and rocks out of the way. It looks like maybe you can crawl inside some kind of small opening. Normally, this kind of thing would be the last thing you would ever attempt, but now in this moment, you've never been happier for a small confined space. On your hands and knees now, you wiggle through on your belly, head first, into the blackness as far as you can go. You're mostly in. It feels like your feet are probably sticking out. You don't care. It's calmer here. You feel safe. But are you? Only time will tell. Outside, the roar of the storm continues to rage outside. The lightning flashes provide little light in here. Time passes. Did you sleep? You can't tell. All you know is you are exhausted. Your ribs hurt if you move, and you just want to curl in a ball and lock the world out. Your mind drifts. Where are you? Is this a dream? Is this Mars? Minutes pass, or is it hours? You're not sure. How long has it been since you've eaten? But then a new sound, a scuttling sound, scraping. This gets your attention. The storm rages, but this sounds closer. You listen as hard as your ears possibly can. It's hard to make anything above the roar of the storm, but then there it is again. Something Something moving. Are you alone in here? Your ribs are long forgotten. Your imagination conjures far more terrifying scenes when faced with the unknown than a simple alien planet. And then 2 red dots appear in front of you like 2 laser points of light. For a moment you're confused. What is that? It's like the light on your TV. And then 2 more dots, and 2 more. When the horrifying realization that you were looking at eyes hits you, you scream. You scream and scream some more, willing them to go away. More dots, more eyes. There are lots of things in here with you, and it looks like they're curious. For a moment, the storm is forgotten, and you consider backing out. Then you realize you've got nowhere to go. Frantically, you begin waving your hands as best you can. You're wedged in pretty tight, so at best you can move them back and forth in a single plane. So there you find yourself alone on an alien planet in the dark, screaming and shouting. But the eyes don't care. Slowly, they seem to get closer and braver. Something touches your hand. You yelp, pulling it back, and with an instinctual response, you smash your fist out into the darkness. There is a satisfying crunch, and then the feeling of something wet on your fist. Something touches your other hand. Same response. You punch your fists out frantically and blindly into the darkness, connecting with whatever you can. This is pure instinctual fight or flight response. You are destruction. You don't want to scare them. You want to destroy them. All the fears of being in this place and the frustration and the unknown come pouring out of you as you frantically swing your arms in this awkward position into the dark unknown. Sometimes hitting something, sometimes hitting nothing. Eventually, though, one arm gets caught on something. Immediately, it is covered in more somethings. Make that a lot of somethings, more eyes. Your left arm is caught. Desperate now, you frantically try to reach your right arm over, but you can't. You have no room to maneuver. Something is biting you. It hurts. You scream, but it is lost in the roar of the storm behind you and the horror in front of you. In that moment, the universe demands surrender, but something inside of you stirs, and you refuse to give in. Suddenly, the storm comes for you, and a large chunk of rock is sucked away by the wind right from where your legs are sticking out. And then another. The cave entrance is widening. The storm is coming in. With a shriek, the critters covering your arms scuttle back into the cavern where they came from, and just like that, they're gone. It's just you and the storm now. More rocks are lifted vertically into the air. You feel like you're at the center of a tornado, the storm pulling at you, roaring. Frantically in the dark, you search around with your hands for anything. Slowly, the storm pulls at you. You're being dragged out of your space. Your fingernails dig into the rock, searching for anything to hold on to. Bit by bit, your small cave is pulled apart as more and more of your haven is exposed. A particularly aggressive gust pulls your body, but at last your hands encounter a piece of jagged rock sticking out of the ground, and you grip it tightly and hold on. Your movement is stopped for now, and it seems like a secure anchor. As if in response to the resistance, the storm howls, the wind shrieks, and more rocks are lifted vertically, smashing on the outside. Your feet begin to lift off the ground as the wind increases, and once again your whole world is reduced to holding on to this one spot. You can feel the rock cutting into your palms. It hurts. Your ribs scream in pain. Part of you wants to let go, just let it be over. Voices in your head tell you you can't do it, that you're not strong enough. And then that stirring you felt before, like an iron gate sliding shut in a moment. Every voice, every doubt. Anybody that ever told you you couldn't do something suddenly silenced. There's nothing but focus and surety, and you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you will hang on for 1 minute or 1 hour. It does not matter. The storm will not get you. It pulls and pulls. Your body is actually being whipped up and down off the ground, your feet flung into the air as the wind pulls at you. Everything focused into your fingers and your palms. Your hands are starting to cramp. It does not matter. Your body wants to give up, but your mind refuses. Focus. Just count. Just count to 10. You can feel your determination in your own mind. 1, the storm rages. 2, it lifts your feet almost straight, vertical, and then slams them back onto the ground. 3, more lightning. 4, your hands are cramping. 5, jagged rock cuts your hands. 6, more wind. 7, more screaming from the storm outside. Something smashes. 8, hang on. 9, hang on. 10, hang on. Again, count. 1, 2, 3. Hang on. Okay, it's Adam here. Welcome to Veritas. I'm here with Artin. For those of you who didn't see the last episode, Artin is the man behind the camera. He has the pleasure of experiencing all the audio and storytelling and all that kind of stuff way before anybody else. So I thought, what an amazing opportunity to invite Artin on the show to talk about his opinion on the story and all that type of stuff. We literally just finished listening to episode 2 like 10 seconds ago. Yeah. So got some interesting things to talk about. If you missed the first episode, definitely go back and check it out. You could jump in the middle of the second, but I feel like it loses a little bit of its potency if you don't start from the beginning.
You definitely have to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
It's a whole journey, yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. So like last time, we got an animal deck.
I'm excited,
here, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna get the dragon this time? I don't know.
We'll see.
But,
all right, next card.
Yeah. Ooh.
An elk.
An elk, all right, let's see. Let's see what it says about that here. The stag.
The stag.
Yeah, grace, majesty, and integrity. And if you ever feel vulnerable or under scrutiny, attuning to the stag and asking for the protection of his spirit will bring you calmness, strength, and dignity. I feel that's very fitting, given the last episode.
Yeah.
Again, why we look at these animal cards and why we have fun with that is because it offers you an interesting perspective or a lens for which to think about something that maybe you hadn't considered before. So, first question, what'd you think about episode 2, the trials?
It definitely felt like I was being tested. There was a greater purpose, and the storm was part of it.
Yeah.
And immediately we started on run, right? And like, again, you didn't know which path to take. You just wanted to get to a better location, right? So it was almost like they wanted a better purpose for you, but they want to make sure you're able to get there. And self-believing is a big part of it, yeah.
Earn it,
yeah.
Right? What do you think of the other 2 characters that you found outside?
Yeah, definitely terrifying.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like that was part of the trial, and overcoming your fear will set you apart from a lot of different people. And not looking back, that was almost, I felt like a metaphor for a bigger picture. You want to look back and go back to what you're comfortable doing or just understanding what's going on, but you almost want to pursue a greater purpose and just continue on a journey to get out of the stumble or stuck feeling that you're having. So definitely that's the journey. It's almost like a test of like being the better being or being part of what's going on. So
that's very profound, Artin. I love that. I love that, especially because the other 2 characters, the Phobos and Deimos, are going to
named after the moon. Yeah.
Going to play an important part later on. But the part about looking back, to tell you the truth, I hadn't even considered that when I wrote it, but that's a great point. So that's very cool. That's why I love this stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. And then of course we're down in the cave and the storm's trying to pull at us, and then I tried to think of like what would be the most terrifying thing imaginable.
Yeah.
So I thought of a confined space, and then I thought something biting you
fighting your way out, basically.
Yeah. So even just writing that just creeped me right out. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, yeah.
But how did you feel in that part of it?
Well, definitely being confined. I'm assuming for other people who are claustrophobic, this would be terrifying and a huge challenge, right? And any normal person would experience that as well, especially if you're being squeezed tighter and tighter and tighter, and then you don't know what's in front of you other than these bright lights. And maybe there's more to these eyes, and I just feel like exactly how the story was told, anyone would have that instinct of trying to get out and fight your way out of it, right? So definitely creepy, especially with all the when you were mentioning like the fist and like you're feeling something on your hand. That was like very, very in tune to like what you would experience, right? So definitely it was a challenge. That was probably the peak of like one part of the trial. And again, I feel like that storm opening the cave, I feel like the storm is almost the answer. I know it's like you're focusing on your breaths and you're trying to understand the bigger picture, but the storm is almost helping you get there, brightening up your way. It's almost you need the storm before the sunlight, right?
Interesting. Ooh, that was very, very profound.
Yeah.
I have one last question for you. You know, at the part where, you know, the storm is trying to pull you, you're kind of hanging on for dear life.
Yeah.
Your fingers are hurting and there's, you know, there's no way you should be able to hold on, but still you do. And there's this moment where you kind of have some self-doubt, right? The kind of voices in your head, or before that, like iron grate of will shuts close. So, you know, that part of self-doubt, like, was there anything specific that came to mind to you, or any emotions that came forward at that moment?
Again, just breathing, focusing on breaths was the first instinct, because it almost, the way you were describing the story, you felt like it was the last thing that you can possibly do. And if you can just maintain your breath, slow your heart rate down, and just focus on the positivity of the end results, knowing that you can make your way out of this, because any person would want to be out of a situation like that. So it's almost instinctively your body wanted to respond a different way than your mind, right? But your mind knew the certain path that it should take, and it's almost like calming you down like a glacier, where it's like it's a stormy day and you're being tossed around, but you need something cool and calming to kind of get you through it. So definitely the breaths were the biggest part to emphasize, and it almost reminded me to remember to take those deep breaths, to slow things down, to focus on other things other than pain. So definitely the breaths helped me get through that part.
Okay,
sure.
cool.
Yeah.
No, I love that. Well, you heard it
Yeah,
here first, much more than a cameraman here, this deep thinker that we have.
Storytelling. Yeah. I love this, by the way. It's just the perspective of almost like a greater purpose, right? It makes you think about metaphors, thinks about just being out in a professional environment. You can take kind of little things like this to a bigger picture. So,
Okay,
yeah.
very cool. All right. Well, thank you, Artin. Stay tuned for next episode coming out next week, titled Monsters and Memories. And yeah, hopefully we'll have some more fun with that one.
Yeah, here we go.
Right?
Stay tuned.
Thanks, Artin.
Totally.
Join me each week as a new chapter unfolds. What worlds will we explore next? What gods and monsters will we find? What part of yourself will awaken? Only one way to find out.